start recording. Give it 30 seconds. Being live. And let's get cracking. Yeah, we'll take a look at ETH and Sol in a minute. All the main four, in fact. We'll do a nice little macro to micro. Let's get cracking. Let's get cracking. Let's go. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. If you're tuning in live, thank you so much for being here, as always. And if you're watching the recording, make sure to say g'day down in the comments. Without any further ado, let's take a quick look at the markets. They are moving today. They are moving. Okay, so we've got some nice reaction off levels. So we won't waste any time today, and we'll go straight into the juice. We talked about last week, BTC obviously wanted to come back into this level. I still very much have that 102 to low 100 in sight. And as you can probably see on my chart, we just hit entry 2. So the first entry was a little bit lower, which got stopped out in the 618 pocket. But we just activated entry 2. Which is for a short. This candle was obviously the one that we would have loved to have shorted from. If you missed that, no problem. What we play off is this range. So this high to this low, that's a new daily range, which we are currently on. So this is where I am interested at the moment. I'm not going to go all the way up here or all the way down there. My interest lays from the previous high to the most recent low. So with that in mind, if we scale down in lower time frame on BTC, we can see obviously this downtrend. We're making lower low. We did take out some liquidity here. We didn't quite get back up there, but the continuation to the downside is quite clear. We did seem to have slowed down a little, but the range which we just highlighted, you can see we are now entering the 786 pocket, and that was our entry 2, which got tapped quite cleanly. Actually, you can see this one candle. When you see this kind of big wicks, small body, usually they tend to indicate some sort of reversal, especially when you look at a 4-hour or daily or higher-ish time frame. So quite confident this trade will now take us to TP, which usually when I play off these 786 areas, I tend to have my TPs at the 50%. So it's usually a 2.5 or 2.7 risk to reward. It's more of a scalp than anything, but I am not going to close my position completely here, because as we just saw, we potentially could come back all the way down here, or at least into this candle. So if this move was to eventually do this, I want to keep some of my positions open, right? And I'm taking profit and scaling and trailing stop loss. So this could be a nice entry, which we just got on BTC. Spoke about it last week. So BTC, yep, we are bearish currently. We have Cappy in the chat. Shout out Cappy, shout out Rati, and shout out everyone that came to their live event with Greeny the other night. It was awesome to meet you guys in real life. So shout out to you guys. And let's take a quick look at the main four. So we looked at BTC. We're currently in a short. ETH just hit overnight. If you are in Australia, hit our full TP. So we did a nice entry. So it had us sweating for a minute, but this is why we are confident in our trades. We don't get phased out. Look how close it came to our TP. So it was a little iffy there for a minute, but no problem. We reversed, gave us another entry, and now we have a full TP. This is a great example of don't panic if you take the trade. If you are in red for a little bit, the moment you press buy or sell, whatever percentage of that account that you've allocated to that trade, think of it as it's gone. It's like you've gone shopping, you spend that money already. Okay, so things like this, they do happen sometimes. Not always we are sniper entries. We like to, but reality is not always. So it's important to be confident in your trade. So I fully closed this position personally, and I saw that Greeny also has, because I do expect some more continuation. And you can see On a 4-hour, let me just clear up the charts a little bit. On a 4-hour, and probably this is, we're not going to get this either, and I can take that out. So most recent trade, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. You can see now what's happening in the 4-hour. We have started to reject. So this last big push up, which was this one candle right here, didn't quite make a higher high. So we haven't broken structure. We are still in a bearish structure. So we're still making lower highs effectively. So my guess is we are actually going to continue lower, with ETH very likely coming and taking this liquidity at sub 4,100 at least. We'll probably see some sort of bullish resistance here once we come into that level. But if BTC does continue lower, like I expect it to, we'll likely see some sort of sub 3738, 3,700, 3,800 ETH again soon, in my opinion, which is normal. We do have pullbacks. Not everything goes up, and you know, we can discuss is the top in as much as we want. The reality is we will not know. The only way we will see is once we hit this really higher time frame. So if we want to have a bit of a better understanding as to where we are at a macro perspective, don't sweat the small stuff. And by small stuff, I mean the hour, 4-hour, 15 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want it to be. Basically, you know, the macro is your 3 days, weekly, even the monthly. So you can see on the weekly, we have obviously clear up this big area of liquidity right here. And now the big question for ETH is, are we going to was this the liquidity grab that is now going to push us lower, or are we going to continue higher? So you can see obviously all-time high was up here. We have now made all-time highs. We are in a new week. We've got 4 days left, so it will be interesting to see where this candle goes. Does it come back here into this selling pressure? I think it will. I don't know when, but I think it will eventually. It needs to if it wants to go higher. That's my my bias. But yeah, it's a little bit hard now to see and to you know, speculate. Is this the top? Is it not? For now, I do think there's a lot of liquidity down here. We already taken the upside liquidity, so the next logical area is to the downside, in my opinion, for it. And obviously that follows BTC as well, so it kind of makes sense. And if we were to do at a daily level, very simple, nothing crazy, fib high to low, we can see we have not even retested the 50% just yet. So first area that I'll be looking at potential reversal will be obviously in the 4,1, so sorry, 4,158 to 4,000. So that's there, 4,158 to sub 4, and then the second area, of course, will be 3,7 to 3,5. So we'll see how deep this retracement is before we hopefully continue higher. So bearish on BTC, currently active. If you have taken the long, of course, take some profit because I'm expecting reversal. And Kapi mentioned he is in a short on Sol, which I like. If you look at let me clear up so we can do it together from the beginning. So low, this is on a daily, so we got high to low. You can see this was the previous high to the previous low. We just simply grab a fib and go all the way down, and we are currently sitting in obviously the 50% 618 golden pocket right here. You can see, I'll highlight it for us. So this pocket right here is the 50% to 618. So we can expect some bearish pressure, of course, and especially if BTC and ETH are going to move on the lower side. I do, however, see some liquidity sitting up here. Probably see it. So, and I've got my box saying selling pressure there, which is a level that I like to short or long, depending on obviously which direction, a little bit better, because we are closer to the 786. So I'm not short on Sol just yet personally. I love to see coming back into this kind of area and maybe take a setup something similar to this. That will give us, oh my gosh, what's that? Let's get rid of that. Don't need that. Something like 252. Something like this. It's a 2 to 7, almost a 2 to 3. So 1 to 3. this will be a nice short potential. I don't know if we'll get up there now or what. This also seems to be somewhat a pretty ugly harmonic. Not a huge fan. But it could potentially be something like this. You can see we didn't quite retrace to the 50%, which if you took my harmonic masterclasses lessons, or if you watch them on YouTube, and if you haven't, go watch them. They're on my channel. They're free. We haven't quite hit the 50%, so I'm not necessarily in love with this harmonic, but it is close enough. It is close enough. So if this is indeed a bat, we could potentially see a retracement into the 76 quite easily. Okay. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. So Sol is not as clear as a setup as BTC in my opinion at the moment. But obviously this is on a higher time frame. I know Cappy is a whiz when it comes to lower time frame. And if you look at the lower time frame, I'd love to see personally some break of structure. So give me that. Take out this liquidity. Start making some lower lows, and then we can short from a retest, and boom, something like this would be a nice little scalp. But yeah, we need to see some sort of break of structure first, right? There's not real clear break of structure. Like you can argue that this was a low, this was a high, this was a low, this was a high, this was a low, this was a lower high, this potentially was a lower low, this potentially lower high, but it's not super clear. You can see now we technically made another higher high there. So really for me the structure will be on a 15 minutes if we clear and close below this 208 level. So that was Sol. Let's take a look at XRP. XRP on the daily is doing what we think it's doing. You can see we obviously broken structure. We're making lower lows. Now it's just a matter of how far down does XRP come. In my opinion, we will see a sub 2 again, potentially. Soonish, which doesn't mean necessarily, we'll come back into this area down here, but it did have just a massive run. So you can see this run here from $1.90 to $3.06 was massive. Like the amount of money that came into that just to get there, it's nuts. So we need to see some sort of retracement. It's normal, it's natural. It needs to refuel, rocket ship. We are at a 50%, but not deep enough. I want to see deeper. I want to see us going back into the $2.30 to $2.10, somewhere there, before we continue higher for XRP. So I'm not personally doing anything at the moment on XRP. I've taken some profit on the last leg up. I keep scaling out a little bit, and I know that I show you guys all the time. My take profits are up here. So I have $4.50 and $5.50 as my last two TPs. I don't know if we're going to build enough momentum to get up there, but you can see we do have this lovely liquidity there. So give me another leg up before a meltdown. That would be sensational. I'll probably exit. I'll probably change, to be honest, my positions, my take profit, and instead of being another 25% up here, it will be another 50%. And then I'll keep that as my moon bag. So $4.50 is probably my adjusted take profit for this cycle on XRP. And there is obviously a level of XRP that I'll never sell. I'm still stacking for my son. He's young enough to see in his lifetime, he'll see some of these coins just going to silly numbers, in my opinion. So quick recap. Main four, we are bearish in the short term. We don't know how low we will go. There is a chance, and I know that everyone, and probably not just me, but all the smart money traders are obviously looking at this candle, which means we're likely not going to get it. There is this order block right here that also is one to look out for, which conveniently will sit just above this liquidity level up here. So we could just see a very quick liquidity grab, barely coming into this fair value gap potentially, and then obviously continuing higher. So mind you, if we are in a short at the moment, we need to be flexible and flowy without take profits, especially once we grab this liquidity at 107.25. Any questions in the chat, or so far so good? Let me know if everything is clean and clear, and we can start having a look at a few other charts. One that I've been looking at, was, if you remember, I said a little while back, it was on, what was that, 2 weeks ago, I'm gonna swap some of my ETH for Sol, because ETH just had that huge run, and obviously all the attention, all the eyes were on ETH at the time, and usually what happens is Sol lags a little bit, and then obviously she comes in play, and the dominance kicks in. So you can see in the black line right there, I say I'm swapping XYZ of ETH for Sol, and I'm aiming at basically filling this move. So I want to see this move fill. My target will be coming up here into this imbalance right here, which will give us roughly an 85% increase. So you can see we were sideways for probably about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks, and now we finally started to break out, which is exactly what we want to see. So that was a good move. So far it's paying off nicely. Sol BTC was also a good indicator of obviously the strength of Sol. So we talked about it, you can see we talked about it on, again, 2 weeks ago, where basically ETH BTC versus Sol BTC. ETH BTC is now is gone. This train has left the station. If you caught it down here, that was great, but if not, it's too late. But if you wanted to play the dominance game, Sol BTC, I see it down here, it can still give us a nice return into BTC, because that's the game here, getting more BTC. And yeah, it's starting to move nicely. So that tells us obviously that Solana dominance is moving, and it is. You can see this nice harmonic, right? It's coming back up, double bottom. We likely see Sol dominance coming potentially back into the fours. That would be a nice little gift, coming back and fill out some of this wick right here. It would be a nice little gift. But yeah, I'm expecting Sol to go up, and with that, of course, we talk about the Solana ecosystem. There's a fair bit of attention at the moment on the Sol ecosystem. We've got obviously the phone being released. Forgot its name, but you know what I'm talking about. And a few projects to keep on your radar. This is a micro cap, like this is a small cap project, SolChat. Personally, I am down on this project, and I don't mind saying it, because I was buying up here. It was last cycle when the first Solana phone came out, and so I was buying up, but it does make sense now at a low to look at it again. SolChat is basically a chat app that is native on the phone. And it's all on chain, so you can see this was the announcement of the Solana phone, and it did a cheeky 2x there. So if you want to, chuck $50 or something, and that makes sense, this will be not a bad project to keep an eye on your radar. The possibility of doing, at least a 2x from 25 cents, coming back and grabbing this money, they're definitely there. But we're talking microcaps at the moment. What really has my attention though is HNT. I know that I told you guys, I think it was last week on Portfolio, I was buying, but yeah, HNT is definitely a project that has my attention at this level. This is a working project that obviously provides mobile network, and it's a profitable company. It's doing all of its thing, and it's at a great level. You can see low to high. We are sitting at the moment at the 786. This project is down a lot from the all-time high. So we're currently sitting at $2.40. So basically from here, and I'm just going to highlight it in green so we know we've talked about it. This is my DCA zone. Okay, so this is for portfolio play. I'm buying some more HNT, and I'll probably go and buy some more today after this call. At this level right here. So that is something for portfolio. Let's have a look as well at some other plays at the moment. So Render is at it's been sitting and chilling at a nice level, but all that it's doing really is just creating liquidity. So Render is going to come back up here somewhere in the 8s and 9s soon, I think. So once again, similar to HNT, low to high, we are sitting not quite as deep, so we're not in the 76 pocket that we like to to buy from. This candle would have been perfect for me if we were to tap this candle right here. I don't think we're going to get a sub 3 render, but it doesn't hurt to put a limit. So this could be a leverage play if you want to set a limit on leverage on your favorite sex or dex or whatever you will use. The $2.93, if you, I think it's $2.93, it's about the same. On this is, yeah, $2.95, roughly the same. That would be a nice long leverage. So setup would be this, something like this, and come back up here. Nice 1 to almost 4. So I do like this setup for leverage on render. And for portfolio from here, from current market price, starting to buy some more, and I will continue buying if we go lower. So this is a absolute sleeper. You know, it's like Link, one of those things that they're boring. Not many people talk about it until they do, and then they do this, you know, this kind of move. So if you look at render going from $4 to $11 in the space of a month. So yeah, it's a nice 3x on a major coin. So I think moves like this can definitely still happen at this point in the cycle. But you got to be a bit more selective with your projects. And what I mean by that is that at this stage of the cycle, and I know Greeny is very vocal about this, like not all altcoins are going to go up. A lot of these, even on my list, a lot of these will just never come back up. And it's okay. We just have to be selective. And that's why we look at things like AI. We look at things like, you know, real company like HNT that solve real world problem. Ondo, talking about real world utility RWAs, things like that. So, and speaking of Link, another one that we caught, and I hope you guys, caught that, because we were bang on. So we call this at 9 cents, and obviously, for those of you that don't know what happened here, so basically the United States of America came out and say that they are going to put a lot of their data on the blockchain, and they are going to use PYTH. PYTH is an Oracle project, just like Link, meaning all they do basically, you know, they talk to Web 2 and Web 3. That's how they talk, via Oracle projects. And PYTH is probably not so much the competitors, but the Solana version of Link, if it makes sense. So I hope you took some profit. I definitely did, because when you have a move which is 2 almost 3x, you take profit. Doesn't matter, you know, especially when a move like this happens. We'll likely come back a little bit lower. So I think if you missed out on this move, you still have a chance to snatch some PYTH sub 15 cents, which is pretty much from here. But definitely, this is another project that I love for you to put on your radar, because I do think we'll come back into the 30s and the 50s, likely 50 cents, that is. So, and you can see we are once again very, very down on this project. So $1 PYTH will be sensational, of course, if you got in at 9 cents. It's a 10x. But I'm not necessarily going to wait for that. Like the 35 cents is my, you can see, TP area. Then I'll probably take some more once we clear this up here, and then leave a moon bag for potentially when and if we go higher. So PYTH, and yeah, this is basically just talking about the Solana ecosystem. These are my main focus at the moment, with Solana dominance going up. Of course, if you are watching things like gaming and whatnot, there is a few different things. That there is a project which OGs will likely remember. You let me know in the chat if you know what Axis Infinity is. I'm curious. Tell me in the chat if you know what Axis Infinity is. I want to see how many OGs do we have. No? Nobody? Axie Infinity? Alright, Axie Infinity was one of the OG blockchain games. In 2021, 2022 even, like, people were quitting jobs. Like, we had kids, and I'm not, like, I'll show you where we were. 2021, people were quitting jobs. They were literally like not just third world country, but like even first world country. We had kids buying houses just by playing this game, which looks like a little mini Pokemon game on chain, and you could earn. It was an earn to play. People were making squillions, right? Squillions, and then obviously. You can see where we were. So all-time high was $166, and we are currently sitting at a measly $2.40. I don't think we're ever going to get back up there. The amount of money that was in circulation at that time was just nuts, and there was not a lot of competition either. But what is really grabbing my attention is this. And for my stock friends and people that follow my stock calls, you know what I'm about to say, hopefully. You can see, since the beginning, we just had the most amount of volume ever to enter. Ever. Like, not even here, not even here. Like, all these volumes. We just had the most amount of volume to enter. Now, like this week. Which leads me to think, okay, so what is happening here? So there's I dug there a little bit deeper, as we do. We go down these rabbit holes, and Axie Infinity is actually yeah. Axie Infinity, which as you can see, I've got it under my gaming watch list, was on a blockchain called RONIN. I don't know if you guys know what this blockchain is. It's kind of like, it was a layer 2. There was not much on it. It's very much a gaming chain. It had some mini, giveaways in the last few years, but nothing crazy. Axie was basically their project that was carrying RONIN blockchain. In fact, it was pretty much the project that was carrying RONIN for a while. RONIN just announced the other day that they are fully migrating on ETH. So they're fully migrating on Ethereum, which obviously gonna give them a lot more. Yeah, man. Like the full-time Axie, like I know 2021 class that, like 16, 17-year-olds on Twitter, like literally buying homes to their parents. Like, it was insane. But fast forward to today, like massive, obviously, volume here. RONIN now moving into on Ethereum, and would you look at that? There's also another couple of important updates. Axie Infinity is to launch Classic Competitive Season 11. So they're still working, they're still shipping, they're still doing stuff, and now they're going to do that on Ethereum network. Okay, so yeah, these are the narratives that you want to pay attention to. I'm not saying go and put stupid amounts on Axie on a project that is like this much down. Like, it would be silly. But when you see this on an OG project that has been around 3 years, and since basically the whole crypto stuff, you want to pay attention. There's definitely something happening here. There's money involved, and the candle, you can see it was like obviously quite a big candle, but not really. Like, this is prime absorption, almost, like maybe not as small as an absorption candle, but the price didn't move as much as it should have with this amount of volume. So pay some attention to this project. I personally am going to allocate a small bag, very small bag, like I'm talking maybe 0.5%, maybe 1%, but like 0.5 is probably more like it, and this is going to be a set and forget bag. If we can come back into the 7, into the 8s, somewhere up here, we're still very far away from where we needed to be, but you're still going to give you a nice 5, 6, 7x return, and this is definitely not guaranteed. It's a risky play, but yeah, something that I wanted to brought to your attention if you're a gamer, or if you follow the gaming narrative. I'm not a gamer, but I just follow volume. That's what I do. So that's it. In fact, if I was to play games, the gaming narrative, I probably would like to invest more in things like Immutable X, which is basically just like an aggregator for all the gaming projects. So Immutable X is definitely a project that I like to and I do have some Immutable X, but you can see we are still once again making lower lows. So gaming is a weird one with narrative. I used to be like, oh yeah, gaming is coming, but not really. Like it's just it's just doing its thing in the background. But yeah, keep an eye on Axie Infinity. That's definitely one to look out for. Okay, so I'm gonna put it there. So we talked about it. A few different things. Mostly the Solana ecosystem is going to be the one that I think is going to have my attention in the coming weeks, just purely because of Solana dominance going up. So we talked about chat. FIDA or SNS at the moment they're still sleeping. FLUX is a project we talked about. Render. This is kind of like a similar concept to Render. I have to do like I've vetted the project. I like what they do. This could be a small gamble. Literally, like you can see, we're just making lower lows and lower lows. But I love to see this project. Go and have a look at it. What it does. It's if you're into it, Render and basically anything that is like graphic, graphic GCPU and things like that. This is a good one to look at. And then talking about real companies, this is another project that I've been looking for a long time, and I haven't pressed buy yet because it just keeps coming lower and lower. But Hive Mapper Honey is a dashcam company that pays in the native token. So they're basically my thesis behind this project, and I think I've only said it once, so I'll say it again. My thesis behind Honey and or Hive Mapper, if you go and look at what they do, they basically sell you dash cams, and you can map roads, and they've got like 80% of the world, like something stupid, mapped already. They are the competitors of Google Maps. So in an era where data and things like that are so important, yeah, that's it. So Honey, my thesis is this project is now in no man's land. Everyone forgot about it, and you can see in the chat, like Ray T forgot about it. They selling a real life product, so they've got a revenue income, which is not just just tokens. My thesis is any moment now, like here or maybe down, even like once it comes to, we are sitting on one penny, 1 cent. This thing will be acquired by Google Maps, or some of the big players, and this thing just shoots up like somewhere up here overnight. Does a 10x. This will be my thesis behind Hive Mapper. Super risky because you don't know if that's going to happen or when it's going to happen. But yeah, that's don't be surprised if out of the blue you hear a project called Hive Mapper or a coin called Honey, and this thing just does a 10x for no apparent reasons. You heard it here. That's my thesis anyway. So that's what I think. There will be an acquisition, and this project will just be boom. All of a sudden, the TVL just goes up here, and if you're in down here, great. Like I'm not against. Once again, put $50, turn it into 500. Great, sync. Yeah, that's what you do. You just repeat the process. It's a doubling game. So low caps, risky. Obviously, don't go put a lot of money. Let's see what the news is. This is on Helium Spaces, Dip In Builders, Hive Mapper. Yeah, beer rewards. That's my thesis. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to put on your radar today, guys. A couple of interesting levels. Pay attention to what projects you go and put on your portfolio at the moment in this point of the cycle. There's not a lot of juice left to squeeze, I think, when it comes to this cycle. I do think maybe the top wasn't in yet. I'm not necessarily calling this was the top of the cycle, but I do think we will see likely potentially something like this, another explosion up, and then we come back and we start breaking this ginormous liquidity trend line. So we are close. I think we're close to the cycle. I think I explained it a bit more in details last week. So start getting your ducks in a row when it comes to TP levels and things like that. So I don't want us to be caught off guard. Don't listen too much. That's probably my biggest advice. Don't listen too much to X, what everyone tells you. If Bitcoin does end up, closing, this is probably where you should put an alarm. Anyone that is listening to either the live or the recording should put an alarm, an alert. Actually, no, an alarm. I'll do it with you. So we'll do it live. So this level, and I'm gonna do it properly. So what I do, I'm on the daily. On this candle, I'm gonna put at the opening, which is the bottom part. So here, and this is the structure that we need to pay attention to. So what I mean by that is that if we come back down here and we close below $100,996 on a daily, we close, considerably lower. This is called a breaker structure, which likely means we'll have another push up, and probably in this candle, and then there's going to be a big sell. So and don't take me wrong, I do expect we will come near this level. See, that's where the fair value gap is. That's where my, we talked about the short potentially coming back down here. So we will retest it. The problem will be if we close below, which, I can't say we will or we won't. We'll have to see once we get down there, but something to keep an eye out on. This candle smells and looks like massive, manipulation. Last push up before the actual move down. So this one bullish candle up the top. So yeah, not we were in the middle of a move. Like you can see, this was the top, this was the bottom. Sorry, the way around. This was the bottom, this is the top. So we're currently sitting at a fifth. I think it will be at roughly the 50%, roughly. Yeah, so we're currently sitting exactly at the 50%. We tapped the 618. We're having a rejection. You can see this was the 618. We're having a rejection. We're back into the 50. There's not real clarity in the market as to where we will go now. We can only have a look at where the lower time frame takes us, and that's why I'm not taking huge swings at the moment. I'm taking more of a short position and more of a scalp, because it's hard to take a swing when you are in the middle of a move, right? It's in the middle of a move. I certainly wish I kept that short open from up here. That was literally the top. I'd love to know if any of you, because this was a call, still had that open. This would have been a 1 to 21. That would have been nice. The absolute short. No, I did close it, so I'd love to say that it was still open, but it's not. I closed it because I take my 1 to 3s and I run. Any questions in the chat, team? Any questions? Any charts that you want to have a look at? Let me know. If there's no questions, I think this was a nice little finger on the pulse as to where we are in the market, I think. Cool. All right, team. Well, enjoy the rest of your evening. For all our US friends that are tuning in now, have a great night. And for our Aussies, have a great rest of your day. Happy Thursday. It's almost the weekend. Thanks, team, and I'll see you guys next week. Ciao.